Now, where do you stand on the issue of transracial adoptions? The government, Michael Gove, has indicated there was never actually a ban on white couples adopting children from a different ethnic background, but the government has indicated through Michael Gove, who was himself adopted as a child, that, well, this issue is significant, but it should not be a deal breaker, and that prospective adopters, if they can show they're able to parent the child, should get that gig, whether or not they are of the same racial or cultural background. Now, a man who used to strongly oppose transracial adoptions is Tony Sewell, as I said, former columnist of the Voice newspaper, now education consultant, and in Jamaica. So we're a real international operation tonight. I'm in Dubai, he's in Jamaica, and we're talking to you in Blighty. Tony, welcome to the show.
Hello. I'm actually in the airport, so it's a bit annoying having to hear the antenna every minute, but hopefully you can hear me.
Yes, we can, and let's hope that we get a moment of peace. Tony, summarise for me why you changed your mind on this question of transracial adoptions, would you?
Yeah, well, for me, the key issue here is to do with the fact that the amount of children that were in care. You've got to look at the fact that what this has done is left a disproportionate amount of black and mixed race children in the care system. And
yeah, 3 times longer on average.
That's right. And we know the dire consequences of that, because there's data to show that leads to crime, mental disorder, it leads to family breakup. And really, what you've got to ask yourself is, given all the efforts that local authorities made to get matching families, those children were still left to just be in care most of their lives. And, for me, I just think the real issue now is that we kind of have to sort of say to ourselves, well, we have to look at it differently. And for me, I would rather they be a family.
Yeah, but why did we get it so wrong then, Tony? I took my lead from people like you, and I've opposed this all my life until now. So how did we get it so wrong?
I think what happened was that we were all made to feel guilty by a sense that this whole idea of identity politics drove this, and said that, look, the most horrific thing to do to a child was to put that child in a white family. Now, I just think that's clear nonsense. I think what we've got to do is, obviously, people, there are differences, there are cultural issues, and there was a history, prior to that, when, in fact, there were no rules on this, and and couples did take black children, and you wondered why. And you wondered what the motivation was in many cases, where those children did end up and did say that they suffered. They went off to the outer regions of the shires. They were the only black child in the school, and they suffered terribly, and the parents didn't support them, and there were real issues there. And I think that's what brought in the rules. And I think that there was a feeling that was right. However, I think that the issue about care, being in those care home situations, I think that's probably just as worse as being thrown out into the shires, to be honest.
Yeah.
So for me, it's a no-brainer. I just think that we should be educating the families to be able to support those children. If there are issues about cultural differences, that they get the right training and support, and then we just find loving families for those children. I think it's the only way. For me, I'd rather they have it. Go on.
Yeah, no, I'm just going to ask if your view is a controversial one, or is the majority, is the consensus amongst black people in Britain swinging your way on this?
I think it's beginning to swing, but I think that you still find, people holding out, because there's a real feeling of guilt, around this, because if you were to look at the Voice newspaper when they used to show the adverts for for children being put out for care. In fact, if you went into any local, London local authority, and you saw the disproportionate amount of black children in there, you do feel strange. You think, well, why is it that the children from our community are in there and not other children? And so already there's a sort of sense of feeling that somehow there's something wrong with us. Now, I think that we need just to get away from that kind of mentality. The facts are that that's how it is. So let's get on with the job of getting those children into loving families. I think that's the reality. But yeah, I think there's a consensus more and more as the generations move on to feel that, maybe, it might be worth a while looking at this now from a different perspective, and saying that, we should be looking for the families.
Okay, Tony.
Just leaving it.
Well, look, thanks for that, mate. Let's see what the listeners think about it. Safe journey. If you're on your way back to Blighty, safe journey wherever it is that you're going. That was Tony Sewell, education consultant, former columnist for The Voice newspaper, former opponent of transracial adoptions, now has seen the light, as explained by Michael Gove, who announced a relaxation on the previous disapproval, though not ban, on white couples adopting children from black and minority ethnic backgrounds.